If your front door is open and there are scratch marks on the lock, lock the door completely and call the police. A group of burglars are trapped inside your house. If you travel to a European country, don't ask people where the tourist spots are. Criminals will think you're a tourist and rob you. If you find a lot of large eggs in your house, call the police. A mother snake has invaded your home. If you're lost in the desert and have nothing to eat, look for brown worms in the sand. They're high in protein and easy to find. If terrorists hijack your plane with bombs, don't try to be a hero to save everyone. The terrorists will get angry with you and you'll be the first to die. If you have a dog and you're traveling to China, don't take it with you. If you get distracted for a moment, they might try to cook it so they can eat it later. If you're in the desert and see a hole in the sand, don't go near it to look. It could be the home of a venomous spider, and if it bites you, you won't make the hospital. If you're swimming in the sea and see dark clouds in the distance, get out of the water even if they're really far. If lightning strikes, the electricity travels so fast through the water that you'll be burned alive. If you're at an amusement park and a ride has a minimum height requirement, don't try to cheat by standing on your tiptoes. The safety harness won't fit you properly and you could have an accident. If you're really tired and your boss thinks you're sleeping at work, put on some sunglasses and say your eyes hurt. That way you can sleep and not get fired. If you're in the gym and the treadmill suddenly starts speeding up for no reason, don't try to turn it off while running. Instead, grab the handrails and jump to the side. If you're being chased by someone with a knife and you get cornered, take off your shirt and throw it over the blade. It'll dull the knife's edge and you'll be able to escape.
If someone attempts to suffocate you with a pillow, just turn your head to one side and you will get a small opening to breathe. If you're kidnapped and locked inside the car's trunk, simply disconnect the brake light cables to get the police to stop the car and kick the door as hard as you can to draw attention. Even if you don't have cell phone coverage, you can always contact 911 for an emergency, as your phone will be connected to the nearest power tower. If you come across a large pack of wolves, don't move. They will only attack if they scare you enough to make you run. Even if you're about to die of thirst, never consume large amounts of cold snow. If your stomach suddenly freezes up, you could die of hypothermia. First, get the snow melted and then drink with caution.
If you're lost and got nothing available to eat, do not try to hunt the wild animals. They move very fast and you'll use so much energy that you'll die of exhaustion. If you see footprints outside your house, grab a stone before going inside. An assassin is just waiting for you to kill. If you're walking during the night and someone calls you, do not turn. They are a group of gang members looking for a fight. If you're an idiot and never make your bed, throw your mattress in the trash. It's full of dirty bugs that will rot your skin.
You get home, but your mother is having a severe heart attack. Do this to save her. First, call 911 and request an ambulance. While giving them your address, don't try to carry her or make her walk. Instead, take the couch cushions and place them against a wall on the floor. Now, seat her with her knees bent. This position reduces strain on the heart. Loosen any clothing that could constrict her, like a necklace or a belt. Now, take an ice cube wrapped in a towel and rub it on her forehead. The cold in this area will calm the nervous system. But if you don't have ice, give her a gentle back massage. This will help regulate her heart rate. But if nothing works, don't panic. Find an aspirin in your house and make her chew it. When the paramedics arrive, don't tell them your life story. Just show them where your mother is and let them do the rest.
In 1962, 3 prisoners dug a long tunnel with spoons in the wall of their small cell at Alcatraz. Every night, they would break through the walls surrounding the ventilation shaft, gradually making the hole bigger little by little. They built a makeshift drill using the motor of a vacuum cleaner to dig faster. They even created realistic-looking fake heads to trick the guards at night. After digging for 3 long months, they managed to escape through the ventilation shaft and ran down a hallway behind the wall. From there, they climbed up to the roof and slid down a pipe in the kitchen, finally reaching the shore of the island. They used a raft made out of several raincoats, and the police searched for them for years, but the prisoners were never found.
A woman gave birth in her car in front of a gas station, but the baby wasn't crying because it was actually blue. The umbilical cord was wrapped around its neck, choking it. Then, a homeless man that was nearby saw what was happening and ran to help. The woman was talking to 911, and the man followed all her instructions. With trembling hands, he removed the cord from the baby's neck. Moments later, the baby began to breathe. An ambulance quickly took them to the hospital. The mother and the baby were safe, but when they returned to the gas station to thank the homeless man, he had vanished without a trace. If someone tries to strangle you with a plastic bag, don't breathe and exhale all the air in your lungs to inflate the bag. If you bite it, it'll pop like a balloon and you'll be able to breathe. If you hear fireworks but you don't see anything in the sky, don't even think about leaving your house. There's a shooting in front of your house and you'll die from a stray bullet. If you're a player in Squid Game, don't team up with really smart people. They'll betray you during the games and you'll die. If you get kidnapped by a group of terrorists, try to make friends with your kidnapper. If you earn his trust, he'll let you go out for air and you'll be able to escape. If a delivery man needs to use the bathroom, make sure he doesn't open any windows. It's a trick criminals use to rob houses at night. If you see a flock of birds flying low to the ground, run away as fast as you can in the same direction. A very strong tornado is about to strike. If you're trapped in a free-falling elevator, don't try to jump at the last second. You'll fall at the same speed as a car and die instantly. If you're trapped in a car underwater and the door won't open, use the headrest to break the window by hitting the corner with it.
How to survive a zombie apocalypse. First, go to the supermarket and buy a hard baguette. Take a big bite and one of your teeth will fall out. Now, go back home and put it under your pillow. At night, the tooth fairy will come looking for it. Now, grab her with your hands and ask her for lots of running machines. She will grant your wish and place all the machines around your house. When the zombies arrive, they will start running non-stop but won't be able to get close. And that's how you can survive a zombie apocalypse.
A woman found an AirTag in her purse and started panicking in fear. She started wondering who had hidden it there and why she was being followed. Scared, she called Alex, one of her best friends. He arrived within minutes and calmed her down, telling her everything was fine. Taking the AirTag from the hands of her friend, he googled how to destroy it and found that smashing it with a hammer was the best option. The two went to the backyard and the man smashed the AirTag, helping the woman calm down, but only for now.
You fall asleep on an IKEA sofa and the store closes. Do this to survive. Avoid the cashier areas and employee offices. That's where most of the cameras are, and they'll think you broke in to steal. If you get hungry, go to the food area. There's a lot of food that's impossible to eat, but there are also hundreds of sandwiches that you don't have to cook. If you get cold, go to the blanket section and put them all on, even though you'll look like a Viking. If you get bored, you can go to the video game area and play until you get tired. But if you hear strange noises, don't make any sound. A little girl died in IKEA and her ghost still haunts the place. You're afraid to sleep alone and the beds are awful. Build a fort with the boxes between the aisles so the employees won't bother you the next morning. If there's an earthquake and you get trapped, don't scream. Instead, pee on yourself, so the rescue dogs can find you by the smell. If you go to the bathroom and see that your urine is red, go see a doctor. Your stomach has become infected and you are bleeding internally. If you commit a crime and are placed under house arrest, become a homeless person. They can't keep you locked up in your house if you don't have a house. If you're sleeping and see a toilet in your dream, don't use it. When you wake up, you will have peed yourself.
Your teacher announces the best and worst grades from the last test. It turns out you got the highest grade. Here's what you did. When I was in college, I decided to try a trick called memory. I took my notes, and the night before a test, I went over my own notes for 30 minutes. Then I put away my notes. I grabbed a new piece of paper and wrote down all I could remember. When I finished, I used a red pen to fill the blanks with everything I had missed. I repeated the process until I knew everything and subscribed to BigDanBaby.
If you're at a funeral that's very sad, don't try to cheer people up by saying a joke. You won't be funny and you'll make things worse. If you're going to scare your friend, never do it in a public place. You might scare the wrong person and get yourself into trouble. If you're at the movies and the person behind starts kicking your seat, don't start a fight in the middle of the movie. Instead, ask to switch seats with the one behind them and do the same. If you're walking your dog on a hot, sunny day, touch the ground with your hand for 10 seconds. If it burns your hand, your dog will also suffer burns during the whole walk. If a scammer calls you on the phone, do this to trick him. First, never accept a call from an unknown number. But if you've already picked up, do not say the word yes, because they might be recording the call. And use your yes to gain access to your bank account. Instead, don't say anything at all. If they say they're going to give you free money and ask you to press 1 to receive the money via transfer, don't do it. By pressing a button, you'll give the scammer access and they'll be able to control your phone line, which is very dangerous. For example, if you get a phone call from your real bank, the scammer can reroute the call to their phone instead of yours, while using a fake voice in order to pretend to be you and steal all your information. Do this to spot a fake police officer. First, check if his clothes are stained or wrinkled, and whether he wears a police cap or has a portable radio. Real police officers always wear a cap, so civilians that are in danger can easily recognize them. Also, they're required to wear a clean uniform and carry a radio. But don't just look at their appearance, also check their car. Real police cars have reflective decals on the sides and front in perfect condition. However, fake police cars usually don't have stickers and are often dirty. Now, watch the behavior of the officer. Fake cops are always nervous in case they get found out. If you ask for his ID, he'll get upset and angry with you. A real cop will always show you his badge and will let you call 911 to verify their identity. In 2001, a thief got completely stuck in a chimney while he was trying to rob a house, and the homeowner, unaware there was someone inside, lit a big fire. The chimney quickly filled with black smoke and extreme heat, and the thief began to scream and call for help. But the fire and smoke had grown so intense that they drowned out his cries. When the firefighters arrived at the scene of the crime, they discovered the lifeless body of the thief inside the chimney. If you're cheating on a test and you accidentally make eye contact with the teacher, don't try to play it off by pretending you're thinking. The teacher will suspect you and you'll look ridiculous. If something gets stabbed into your body, don't try to pull it out of the wound. That will only make you lose more blood. Instead, cover the hole with your clothes and run to the hospital. If you get a raise at work, don't tell your co-workers how much you're making. They'll think it's unfair and might try to get you fired. If you're going to sunbathe naked in your backyard, make sure no neighbors are on their balconies. They might come out to look and get a disgusting surprise. If you're walking down the street and a thief tries to rob you, act crazy and shout words in Chinese very loudly. If the thief thinks you're mentally unstable, he'll get scared to death. If you're in a casino and win a lot of money, get out of there fast. It's a trick casinos use to keep you playing until you lose all your money. If you're rich, never take designer clothes to a laundromat. It's very likely that criminals are hiding there to rob you. If you're eating something sweet but taste something sour, run to the doctor immediately. You've eaten poisoned bacteria and you'll die. A town in the United States started noticing a very strange smell in 1970. The water tasted bitter and people began to get sick. But what they didn't know was that their homes had been built on top of a toxic waste cemetery. Decades before the town was built, 20,000 tons of chemical waste had been buried underground by a nuclear laboratory. When construction of the town began, the waste started seeping into basements, gardens, and the water supply. The disaster led to the urgent evacuation of the entire neighborhood, and many families suffered long-term health problems.
If you are lost in the desert, look for dead leaves and plants. If you start a fire, you won't freeze to death during the night. If some homeless people ask you for money, move your hands and make deaf sounds. Since they don't know sign language, they won't attack you. If you are in World War III, never take off your helmet. If you get shot, you will die anyway. But if they throw a grenade, the helmet will protect you from the debris. If you are lost on a desert island, but you are an idiot and don't know how to make fire, catch raw fish and make sushi. First remove the bacteria and then eat carefully.
If you're at home alone at night and a thief breaks in to rob you, turn off the lights. You know the inside of your house much better than the thief does. If you're completely lost in the desert, don't even think about drinking your own urine. You will only get more dehydrated. If you've been kidnapped, you can call 911 and pretend that you're ordering a pizza. The police will immediately understand and they'll come to save you. If you're at the beach and the water starts receding fast, get out of there as soon as possible. A massive tsunami is coming.
A man noticed that food was mysteriously disappearing from his house. Worried it might be a thief stealing from him, he installed security cameras. One day, the cameras detected movement while he was out of the house. He called the police and they searched the entire house, but they didn't find any sign of a break-in. Then, they looked in a small storage space above his wardrobe, and to their surprise, they found a 58-year-old woman living inside. She had lived in that hiding spot for over a year, with a mattress to sleep on and plastic bottles for water. While the man was out, she would leave the hiding spot to eat his food and use the bathroom.
How to avoid being called to present in class when you have nothing prepared. The worst thing you can do is to look down and play dumb. If you look nervous, they will choose you. Pretend to review your notes quietly while secretly asking ChatGPT for a presentation on the topic. It will buy you some time and the teacher will see that you are interested in the class. If the teacher finally calls on you, it is best to reply, "Just let me organize my points. Start with someone else and I'll go next." If you are lucky, the class will end before you have to present. If everything fails, fake a stroke and everyone will forget about the topic.
In 2011, a woman found her dog choking in the living room of her house. Frightened, she rushed the dog to the vet, where it was given anesthetics. After leaving the dog, she returned home, but soon received a worried call from the vet. He had found a human finger stuck in the dog's throat. The veterinarian insisted the woman call the police. When the officers arrived, they searched the whole house and mysteriously found a thief lying unconscious, hiding in the closet, who was missing a finger. A baby fell into a small pipe in the backyard of her home, becoming trapped more than 7 meters underground. For 56 agonizing hours, the rescue team worked tirelessly to bring her to safety. They dug a parallel tunnel alongside the pipe and a cross tunnel to reach her, overcoming obstacles like stones and rocks along the way. After 24 hours, the rescue team started hearing the little girl singing a Winnie the Pooh song, a sign that she was still alive. Finally, a rescue medic managed to squeeze through the narrow tunnel and bring the girl to the surface, and the dramatic rescue turned little Jessica into a worldwide symbol of hope.
If you're on a date and you forget the name of the girl, go to Starbucks and buy her a coffee. When they hand out the drink, they'll call her name out loud and you won't look ridiculous. If you touch a cactus and your hand gets full of spines, apply white glue all over your hand and wait for it to dry. That way you can peel off the glue and remove all the cactus spines. If you're about to sign a contract but there's a small smudge on the paper, don't sign it. It could be the fine print with ridiculous condition. If you go to the doctor and notice he's typing while you're talking, be careful and look at his screen. He's Googling what you're saying because he has no idea what's wrong with you. When Pinocchio lies, his nose starts to grow. But what would happen if he says, "My nose is gonna grow"? Look, if it doesn't grow, it means he's lying, and therefore his nose will grow. But if his nose grows, that means Pinocchio wasn't lying, and therefore his nose should have never grown. Do you think Pinocchio is lying? If you're dirty and sleep over at a friend's house, never use his toothbrush. As well as being gross, you could catch diseases from his saliva. If it's your third day with your new girlfriend, don't buy her an iPhone with your credit card. If she dumps you for another guy, you'll still be paying for the phone every month. If the police arrest you by mistake, don't insult the judge and shut your mouth. Anything you say can be used against you, and if you're innocent, they'll let you go. If you're using the airplane bathroom, do not flush the toilet while you're sitting down. The toilet generates a vacuum suction so strong that you could get stuck. The lock on the door broke, leaving the woman completely stuck inside the bathroom. There were no windows and no way out. Her only way to survive was tap water from the sink. A few days later, she started banging on the pipes, hoping her neighbors would be able to hear her cries for help. But they mistook the noise for construction work and even filed a petition to the building to stop the construction work. Finally, 3 weeks later, a neighbor saw the mailbox full of mail and called the police. When firefighters arrived, they found the woman malnourished and very weak. They rushed her to the hospital immediately, on the brink of death. If you collected every single tear you've ever cried, most people think that you could fill a river with your tears. But the average person only cries about half a teaspoon of tears at a time. And even if you tried to cry during an entire day, you'd only fill half a cup of tears in 24 hours. Now, a small river holds millions of liters of water, which means you'd need to cry without stopping for about 500 years to fill a river with tears. If you don't have drinkable water, use your shirt as an emergency filter. Even though the fabric won't remove bacteria, it will at least filter out the mud. If you come across a wolf, shout and fight back. Wolves only attack in packs, and if you hit it, it will get scared. If you're lost in the snow, don't even think about starting a fire. If your body warms up too quickly, the sudden change in temperature could kill you. If you're stupid and bite your tongue while eating spicy food, run to drink a lot of water. The spiciness has burned the wound and you could lose your tongue.
If you are at a party and your drink is a little salty, do not drink it. It's very likely that someone put drugs in. If someone is attacking you from behind, try to scratch him. You'll sure get a sample of his DNA in your nails. If you're kidnapped in a car and they force you to drive, crash your car accidentally, it is very likely they're not wearing a safety seatbelt. If you come face to face with a big lion, maintain your eye contact and walk backwards very slowly.
A cat jumped into a deep well full of dead animals in India, and its owner jumped in to save it. But he got trapped, and the corpses had filled the well with toxic gases. When he called for help, his son jumped into the well to rescue him, but he also got completely stuck. 3 other family members tried to help, jumping in one after the other, but all of them got trapped in the well. Finally, a 6th family member went down with a rope tied to his waist. He was rescued 10 hours later by a group of people who pulled the rope after hearing his screams. But the other 5 men had already died from suffocation due to the toxic gases in the well. The police found the ship's crew paralyzed by fear, with their mouths and eyes completely open, and their bodies deformed as if they had all seen something terrifying. The bodies had no wounds or injuries, but something terrible had happened that very same day. The ship sent a mysterious distress message, which ended with the following phrase, "I am dead." And just before boarding the ship, an explosion set the whole deck on fire, and the police were forced to evacuate. They managed to escape in the last second before the ship exploded and sank, taking all the evidence to the bottom of the sea.
If you're dumb and have lots of tattoos, hide them before you enter a dangerous neighborhood. Criminals might think you're part of an enemy gang and you'll get killed. If you're dying of hunger and find an animal corpse, don't eat it. Even if you cook the meat, it'll be full of bacteria and you'll die instantly. If you're on a plane and see a lot of black backpacks, quickly go and notify the pilot and analyze the passengers very carefully. They are terrorist bombs to blow up the plane. If it's raining but you're feeling very hot, run home and shower as soon as possible. There's a good chance it's actually acid rain that has burned your skin.
If your ex-girlfriend is destroying your car, this is what you need to do. Try to calm her down by saying something nice. If she's really angry, use force to defend your car without hitting her or hurting her. But if she has a weapon, don't get close. Instead, record it all with your phone and call the police. If she breaks anything on your car, she'll have to pay for it. Destroying someone's property is a serious crime, and she'll have to cover all the repair costs and could even end up in jail. But what if the car was a gift from your ex? If she gave you the car, but now she's mad at you because you cheated on her, you have to check whose name is on the car's paperwork. If it's in her name, it doesn't matter that she gave it to you. She can destroy it without a problem.
If your neighborhood isn't safe because of kidnappings, always hold your keys in your hand. They'll be like a brass knuckle, and you will do double damage. If you have an accident and break your hands, scream at the top of your lungs, ambulance, 911, to get your phone to dial for assistance. Don't forget to check the back seats of your car before you start the engine. Criminals often stay hidden behind so they can kidnap you without warning. If you're lost in the open sea, float on your back and use your watch to reflect light. The ships will see the flashing light and come to rescue you.
If you're a slob and you don't wash your hair, cut it off right now. Your hair is rotted and it's the perfect home for lice. If you're being bullied and you're afraid of dying, punch them from behind. If you kill them, they won't bully you anymore. If they kill you, they won't bully you anymore. If you go in your house and there are thieves robbing, lock the door and burn the house down. If the thieves escape, the police will only have to look for suspects with burns on their skin. If you're an idiot and you put cutlery inside the microwave, get out of there as soon as possible. If the waves touch the metal, your entire house will explode.
If you have been kidnapped by a group of terrorists, do not act like you're dead. Terrorists always inspect the bodies and they will kill you. If you meet a lot of stray cats on the street and you think of giving them food, they will think you have unlimited food and follow you back home to stay with you forever. If you wake up with your mouth covered in drool, toss your toothpaste through the window. Your toothpaste has too much fluoride and it has already burned your throat. If a beggar asks for money, speak in another language. He will believe you're just a tourist and stop attacking you.
If the door of your house is open and you see stripes on the keyhole, lock the door from outside and call the police. A group of evil thieves is trapped inside your house. If you travel to a country in Europe, do not ask anyone where to find the tourist attractions. The criminals will think you're a tourist and will rob you. If you find a lot of large eggs in your house, quickly call the police. A big mother snake has invaded your house. If you're completely lost in the desert and you got nothing to eat, quickly search for brown worms in the sand. They have a lot of protein and are easy to find. If you're an idiot and you want a tattoo of your girlfriend's name, don't do it. When she leaves you, your next girlfriend will be angry. If you're being bullied, quickly go punch the leader. You're very likely to get beaten up hard, but they'll think you're very brave and they'll respect you. If you're in a pool and you see a child drowning, don't help him. The child will grab you, and if you don't swim, you will both drown. If you're a dirty guy and don't brush your teeth, go to the dentist as soon as possible. You've got bugs living in your mouth and you'll lose all your teeth at once.
Two boys wearing hoods walked up to the man's car. He rolled down the windows slightly and they asked him for a ride. But the man felt an overwhelming sense of dread, like something terrible would happen if he let them in. As he looked closer, he realized that their eyes were pitch black with no whites at all. He quickly drove away, leaving the boys behind. The man shared his experience online, and soon more people began to report similar sightings of eerie children with black eyes. But the police never managed to find them.
Two children with green skin mysteriously appeared in a village in England in the 12th century. The boy and the girl spoke an entirely unknown language, and they wore very strange clothing. They were confused, and the kind villagers offered them food, but the children could only eat green beans. The boy fell ill and eventually died, but the girl survived, and little by little, she managed to learn English. She explained that they came from a green city with no sun, called the land of Saint Martin. However, this place does not exist, and the mystery of the green skin was never solved.
If you see your friend with a very old woman, don't ask him if it's his mother or grandma. It could be his new rich girlfriend because your friend doesn't want to work. If you're in another country, never make signals with your hand. They might mean something very dangerous and you'll get thrown in jail. If you order a drink at a fast food restaurant, never order it with ice. It'll take up most of the cup and you'll pay more money for less soda. If you move house and notice that your son has a new imaginary friend, get out of there fast. It could be a spirit that lives in the house.
A venomous snake bit a man in the eye while he was taking a walk through the jungle. He hit his head as he reacted to the sharp pain, making his situation even worse. The venom causes bleeding and swelling in the affected area, and once it enters the bloodstream, it can make limbs die off quickly. They took him to the hospital with the snake still attached to his face, and even though the bite was directly in his eye, the snake's fangs didn't damage his optic nerve. He went through surgery to clean the wound, and a few weeks later, the man fully recovered with no lasting effects except a visible scar on his eye.
Never make these mistakes when traveling to other countries. If you ever travel to Taiwan, never pick up a red envelope from the ground. If you open it, you'll be forced to marry a ghost bride. Because in Taiwan, when a daughter dies, her parents prepare a red envelope filled with money on the street. If a man picks it up, he automatically becomes the husband of their dead daughter's ghost. If he refuses, he'll be haunted in his nightmares by a crying woman for the rest of his life. But in Japan, don't even think about walking while you eat or drink, because everyone will think you're rude. That's why the streets are always clean without trash. Lastly, in Chile, it's illegal to eat anything with your hands. Even if you eat a sandwich with your hands, everyone will look and insult you. Do this if you find out your daughter has sneaked out of the house. Go to a Halloween store and buy fake blood. When your daughter escapes through the window, go into her room and open the window completely. She probably went out to drink alcohol and kiss boys, and she'll come back pretending she was asleep all night. But she'll notice that the window is completely open, and her bedroom door will also be open. The couch turned upside down and the house trashed. But she'll be even more scared when she sees blood trails leading to the bathroom, where she'll find you injured and tied up inside the bathtub with a sign that says, "Thanks for leaving the window open." She'll be so traumatized that she'll never run away from home again. If you're at your rich friend's house and break something, don't try to hide it. They have security cameras all over the house and they'll catch you. If you're at the beach and bury your whole body in the sand, do not do it near the water. If the tide rises, you'll slowly drown. If you're away from home and need to charge your phone, don't use public USB outlets. It's a trick hackers use to steal your information. If you're alone in a movie theater and a stranger sits next to you for no reason, pretend you're getting a phone call and change seat. It's very likely that he's a child kidnapper. If you're on a date and the girl is very ugly, but you don't know how to escape, pretend you're getting a phone call and make a sad face while crying. Your date will think a family member has died and will let you live. If you're dying in the desert, walk only at night. Avoid moving under the sun, and cover your skin with whatever you can. The heat will kill you before the thirst does. If you have to sleep outdoors, don't even think about resting on the ground. Bugs and spiders will try to crawl into your ear, since it's a warm place to lay their eggs inside. If you're going on vacation to an African country, do not put on your shoes without checking them first. Most scorpions and spiders really love hiding in dirty and dark places like shoes. A farmer paints his cow with black and white stripes, mimicking the pattern of a zebra. It might seem ridiculous, but this pattern actually makes cows happier, helping them produce more milk. You see, the stripes help them blend in better with the environment, but they also confuse insects like mosquitoes, making them dizzy so they can't bite the cow. Scientists discovered that unhappy cows consistently produce less milk, and giving them this zebra-like pattern helps keep bugs away, which in turn increases milk production. If you're driving and a car starts following you, turn right 4 times. If it's still behind you, head to the nearest police station. If the ice in your drink doesn't float, don't drink it. It's very likely that it's been poisoned. If a guide dog starts barking at you but doesn't have an owner, follow it and call 911. You could save someone's life. If you're a man and a pregnancy test comes out positive when you pee on it, see a doctor immediately. It's very likely that you have cancer. If you're at the mall and someone drops money in front of you, don't pick it up. It might be someone recording an honesty test and you'll look ridiculous. If you're walking and see a grenade on the ground, don't try to throw it away. It might explode as soon as you pick it up. Instead, run away fast and hide, blocking your ears. If you're lost in the jungle and a monkey steals your stuff, don't try to fight it. Monkeys are extremely strong and it'll beat you up. Instead, try to trade your things for a banana. If you find a gas station with extremely low prices, don't stop to get gas. They've mixed it with oil to make it cheaper.
In 2014, a baby stuck a pencil up his nose and somehow pushed it through the nasal passage until he inserted it 7 centimeters into his brain. They took him immediately to the hospital, and the doctors had to extract it very carefully while trying not to cause more damage. But the pencil had magically managed to miss all the important nerves and blood vessels, and they were able to remove it without making any long-term damage.
How to figure out the answer to any question on an exam. What you're not going to do is answer the question. If you're stuck, put a star and move on with the exam. You need to become a detective and use other questions to figure out the answer. For example, who discovered America? You're not sure what the answer is, but 10 minutes later you find another question. In what year did Christopher Columbus discover America? Now you know that the answer to the first question is Christopher Columbus. Have you ever wondered why the Mona Lisa is so famous? I mean, if you really look at it, it's a pretty simple painting. So why is it so famous and worth billions of dollars? Well, it all started with a crime. In 1911, the Mona Lisa was stolen, and its disappearance became world news. After 2 years, it was finally found, and everyone went to Paris to see the famous stolen painting. The surgeon removed a large piece of the man's skull, with the intention of reinserting it later during brain surgery. A few weeks later, his brain managed to recover, and it was time to put the piece of skull back, but the doctors couldn't find it. Instead of it, they used a plastic implant, which later caused an infection in his head, and forced him to undergo another surgery. Even so, the hospital charged him $19,000 for the plastic prosthetic. Now, the man is suing the hospital for being idiots, asking for compensation for his suffering and the medical mistakes. If you live in a rough area, wear poor-looking clothes that are very dirty. The thieves will pity you and they won't rob you. If someone is looking at your phone, open the front camera. The snoop will see themselves on the phone and look ridiculous. If a killer enters your house, turn off the lights and put pillows inside the bed. The killer will think you're sleeping and you'll catch him. If you see that your car has a broken window, don't go in and call the police. There's a homeless person living inside your car. How to know if someone's cheating on you. Ask for her phone to use the calculator. If all the apps on the phone are locked, it means she has deleted the evidence. If she didn't exercise before and now goes to the gym every day, it means she wants to look better for someone else. On the other hand, if you suspect a friend is covering for them, tell the friend you already know everything. They will tell you what she was hiding. If she gets mad at you but is very happy the next morning, it means she sneaked out at night to see her lover. Finally, if you're going to confront her, become friends with her lover and tell them how terrible she is. That way, she'll be alone without you or her lover, and you will have a new friend.
Why do bathrooms have a gap under the door? When you go into a bathroom at school or a restaurant, it can feel really awkward because you feel like everyone is watching you. But these gaps are there for safety reasons. You see, if you ever need medical attention, the gap lets paramedics get in and save your life. It's also used to make sure no crimes are committed inside the bathroom. And finally, if the door ever gets stuck while you're inside, as gross as it might be, you can easily escape through the gap. Your poor friend's parents invite you to eat at their house. Do this so you don't look ridiculous. Wear poor people's clothes, put away your money and watch, and hide your iPhone 17 so no thief steals it. If the house is dirty or broken, don't say anything. Since they're a poor family, they don't have money to repair it. On the other hand, never spit out the food if it's disgusting. You have to eat it all, even if you don't like it. Try to talk with the whole family, but don't talk about your money or mention the new Ferrari your mother bought. If they are rude while eating, don't correct them. But above all, never ask why there is no dessert. Poor people don't have money for food. Finally, when you've finished eating, help clear the table, wash the dishes, and subscribe to Big Dan Baby. The weirdest allergies in the world. This girl is allergic to water. That means she can't go in the pool or sweat or even shower without having a strong reaction. Something similar happens to this other girl who is allergic to the sun. She can't go to the beach or outside without feeling terrible pain on her skin, so she has to wait until it gets dark to go out and live normally. Yvonne Simone is allergic to money. In 2010, she went shopping and came back with her whole body covered in itchiness and discovered she was allergic to the ink on bills, so now she only uses a card.
If you live in a dangerous area, always carry 2 phones with you. If you get robbed, you can give them the fake phone and the thief will look ridiculous. If you're a loser and you get bullied, make friends with a homeless person. Homeless people are crazy and will defend you from bullies. If you're always sleepy in class, stop using your phone before going to bed. The light from the screen makes your brain think it's daytime and keeps you from sleeping. If you're in a country you don't know with lots of thieves, wear your backpack backwards. Everyone will think you're an idiot, but at least you won't get robbed.
The rarest allergies in the world. This boy is allergic to the cold. That makes it so that when he feels a cold breeze, he suddenly faints. He can't play in the snow. And the worst part is that he lives in Canada. Something even worse happens to this other girl. She's allergic to perfume. Every time she smells it, she gets dizzy, gets a headache, and it burns her lungs when she breathes. Tessa Hansen is allergic to the sea. One day she went on vacation to the beach. She came home with her body covered in itching and discovered she was allergic only to salt water. And finally, this cat hated its owner's boyfriends and would bite them if they touched her. One day, the cat became sick. After taking her to the vet, they realized the cat was allergic to human men. If you think someone is following you, do this to find out. First, make sure you're not paranoid. If you're walking down the street and you see someone once, it's normal. If you go into a store and see them again, it's probably just a coincidence. But if you see them again in a totally different place, according to the Moscow rules, you're being followed. To be sure, turn right 4 times to complete a full loop. If they're still behind you after looping, it's not a coincidence. They're following you. Now, this is what you need to do. Stay calm and act normal. Look for a crowded place like a store or a restaurant. Then tell the manager about the suspicious person and call the police to stop the criminal. How long would you survive eating only these things? If you only drank Coca-Cola, you'd die in about 3 months. Since it's just sugar with sparkling water, your kidneys would fail, and then all your organs would follow. If you only ate carrots, you'd last only about a month and a half. First, your skin would turn orange, and you'd die super skinny from malnutrition. If you only ate French fries, you'd survive around 2 to 3 months. The lack of protein and vitamins would make you very weak, while all the fat and salt would overload your organs. And it'd be even worse if you only ate spicy fries. If you only ate ice cream, you'd live around 4 months. Some have fruit that would help a little, but the extra sugar would damage your heart. And finally, a girl once managed to live for a whole year eating only fruit because they have some vitamins and fiber. But in the end, the lack of protein and fat caused her serious malnutrition. Are you a psychopath? Let's put it to the test. If you answer the next question correctly, you're a psychopath. It's Christmas, and Santa brings a child 2 gifts, a soccer ball and a bicycle. The child looks at Santa and starts crying. Why? A normal person might say the child didn't like the presents, or that he wanted more gifts. But the answer a psychopath might give is, the child has no legs. When McDonald's opened in Italy, everything went wrong because people thought it wasn't a real burger. That's why in 2015, they decided to open a secret restaurant with a totally different name. There they served the same food, but with a gourmet presentation, and people just loved it. Hundreds of people went and said it was the best burger they had ever tried in their life. After 3 days, they revealed that it was actually McDonald's. Today, they have over 600 restaurants in the country.
If you want to eat for free at a restaurant, go with a friend and fake a fight right after eating. The waiters will kick you out of the restaurant and you won't have to pay. If you try to pay but your card gets declined, pretend to call the bank very angrily. Other people will think it's the bank's fault and not that you're broke. Put a sticker that says baby on board on your car in case you have an accident. Firefighters will think there's a baby in your car and rescue you first. If you want to buy luxury items, pay with your credit card and then throw it into a lake. Now, tell the bank it was stolen. Even if they cancel the card, you'll keep everything.
If you are always tired and sleepy, eat a lot of meat. Digestion will force you to stay awake and you will have infinite energy. If you are dying of thirst and find dirty water, look for bamboo canes. If you filter the water through the hole in the canes, you will get drinking water. If you find a sleeping bear, don't make a sound. If it wakes up, it will be hungry and you'll be its breakfast. If you are dying of thirst but you feel the urge to pee, go to a doctor fast. You have a kidney stone that will kill you. Do this to get a free Lamborghini. Start by going to the supermarket and buy a bottle of super glue. Then go back home and gather all the toothpicks sitting around the kitchen. Stick them all together and they will turn into a plank. Leave the house and place the plank on top of your father's car. Now, take an apple out of your pocket and place it on the plank. After a few hours, a big elephant will come and eat the apple. Then take a rat out of the trash and show it to the elephant. It will be so scared that it will start jumping on the plank. Your father's car will be pressed flat, and now you have a free Lamborghini. Your Mexican friend's parents invite you to sleep over at their house. Do this so you don't look ridiculous. Wear casual clothes, hide your luxury items, and don't take photos or ask about the white powder and magic plant. If their house doesn't have a roof, don't say anything. They probably don't have the money to fix it. On the other hand, you have to pray before eating. Add hot sauce on the tacos and eat everything even if your mouth burns, or you'll look ridiculous. However, you're confused because your friend's dad is trying to climb their neighbor's wall. Remember, it's his job, so don't bother him. Finally, it doesn't matter if you leave the windows open at night. If a robber breaks in to steal, he's probably a family friend, and the thief will get angry at you.
If you leave your room and your mum has invited her friends over, grab some duct tape and stick it over the doorbell. Your mum and her friends will go open the door and you'll be able to walk by unnoticed. If you're caught by a tornado and don't have shelter to protect yourself, find an empty car tire and get inside it. If the tornado sucks you up, you won't get hurt when you fall. If your boss is giving you too much work, send them a funny brain rot meme. They'll find it hilarious and start treating you better. If you're in Africa, don't even think about showering with water. In Africa, there's nearly no drinking water, and you could be taking water away from an entire town. If you're drunk but you haven't drank any alcohol, stick out your tongue. If it looks crooked, you are having a stroke. If you want to rob a bank, do it on April Fool's Day. If your plan goes wrong and you get caught, you can say it was just a joke. If you want to become a millionaire without working, marry a rich grandmother. When she dies, you will inherit all her fortune. If you want to get free food, go to a fast food place right before they close and ask for something to eat. The food they were going to throw out will be given to you and you'll eat without paying.
If you think a passenger is going to hijack your plane, here's what you need to do. First, make sure you're not being paranoid. The passenger is sweating. Maybe he's just hot. He's rude and swears a lot. He might just be nervous about flying on a plane for the first time. But if he's doing all that at once while looking suspiciously at the flight attendants, you've probably discovered a terrorist. First, press the help button and alert the flight attendants about the hijacker's suspicious behavior. If the terrorist catches you, don't try to confront him verbally or physically. Instead, try to be discreet and listen to the flight attendants. They're trained to calm the situation inside the plane and use their tools to eliminate dangers. Besides, the pilots are also trained to lock the cockpit door and not open it to anyone under any circumstances. If you're about to fall from a great height, try jumping instead of falling to land on your feet. You'll probably break your legs, but at least you'll survive. If you're in a forest during a lightning storm, never hide under a tree. Lightning usually strikes structures that are tall and pointy. If your neighbors have been robbed and you're afraid of burglars, place a bottle in front of the door. When they enter, the bottle will break and the burglars will run away. If you nearly drowned but managed to survive, go to the doctor anyway. It's very likely you still have water in your lungs and end up drowning later. If you see a fancy car on the street, don't take a photo. Rich people are all idiots and are always angry. If you're lost in the snow, don't even think about making a fire. If your body heats up too quickly, the sudden temperature change could kill you. If you're stuck in a broken train, break the windows with the emergency hammer. There are a lot of sick people breathing on the train, and you'll catch their sickness. If you break a big beehive in half, try whistling really loud. They'll think you're their friend and won't sting you.
How to play Super Tic-Tac-Toe. The game starts with 9 different boards and 81 available spaces. Player X picks the center board and plays in the top right corner. Now, player O is forced to respond in the board that matches the square of the previous move. Since X played in the top right square, O must play in the top right board. The game continues until a player completes 3 in a row and claims the board square. If a player is forced to play in a board that's already finished, their opponent gets to choose which board they must play in. Finally, Super Tic-Tac-Toe ends when one player wins 3 boards in a row.
How to avoid being asked while in class if you don't know the answer. What you're not going to do is to avoid direct eye contact with the teacher. If you look out the window, he will think you are distracted and will ask you. Act like if you are busy writing on a piece of paper or reading your own notes, so the teacher will think that you are involved with the subject, but you are not available to answer at the moment.
If we get invaded by aliens, don't try to befriend an alien. To the Martian visitors, you're nothing but a stupid animal and they'll experiment on you. If you're an idiot and you're vegan, don't go to a barbecue with your friends. You won't be able to eat and you'll look ridiculous. If you're at school and see some bullies picking on a kid, don't help him because you'll get beaten up. Instead, record a video for YouTube and the police will send them to jail. If you pick a fruit in the jungle, don't eat it. Jungle fruits are often very poisonous and you could die instantly. He stepped out onto the wire between the Twin Towers in 1974, since the high wire artist had secretly rigged a cable between the towers over 500 meters above the ground. For 45 minutes, he danced, knelt, and even laid down on the suspended wire, all while the wind swayed the cable beneath him. A crowd of people gathered below, stunned. Eventually, police arrived and demanded he come down, but he wasn't in a rush to descend, and after 8 more dances, he finally laughed and came down. If you run away from a bear, it will easily catch you. It's better to stay calm and avoid eye contact while backing away little by little. If the bear charges at you, do not move. Most of its attacks are just a bluff. If it really attacks, lie face down and protect your neck with your hand. Don't move and try to play dead, since bears often lose interest if they don't see you as a threat. A soldier was shot in the head in 1562. He fell from a wall and ended up landing in a hole, and the workers buried him, thinking he had died from the fall. When his loyal servant found out he'd been buried, he went to retrieve the body to give him a proper burial. But while he was digging him out of the hole, he discovered that the man was still alive. The soldier managed to survive, and he was able to tell others his incredible story. When a snake is eating something that's very big, it has the ability to open its jaw completely because the bones in its mouth aren't directly connected to the skull. Instead, they're connected through very flexible ligament, which can stretch and move. Once the animal's head is inside its mouth, the inner muscles of the snake contract with great force, pushing the animal down into the esophagus and stomach. If you get stabbed with a knife, don't remove it unless it's blocking a major airway. The knife will help prevent blood loss by sealing the wound. If you're getting chased by a poisonous snake, stomp the ground with your feet. The vibrations in the ground will mimic a bear's footsteps and scare it away. If a shark attacks you, kick its eyes and nose very hard. That's its weakest spot and you'll buy time to escape. If you're trapped in a mall and there's no light, look for colored crayons. They burn easily and can be used as candles. If you fall from the top of a building, there are 3 things you can do to increase your chances of survival. First, relax your body by moving your arms and legs to release tension. Now, aim to land on something that might slow your fall, like a tree instead of concrete. Try to position yourself upright to land on your feet so the impact spreads through your legs. Lastly, try to roll as you hit the ground to reduce injuries.
Imagine you rob a bank and get a huge amount of money, but you have a big problem. You can't spend that money because the police will ask you where you obtained it. Since dirty bills must be laundered before spending them, this is what you must do. You open a small hamburger stand and sell some real burgers, but every day you will lie about how many burgers you have sold. Each day you will say that you sell 50 burgers, even though in reality you only sell 1. Now you add all the stolen money pretending it comes from your business. If someone asks you where you got the money, you tell them it came from your business and show the fake evidence. But if you're an idiot, sooner or later the police will notice that the numbers don't match and they'll lock you up for money laundering. If you could know everything in the world, at first it would be incredible. Just by thinking about it, you'd know every secret and every hidden truth. No one could lie to you. You'd know every answer before they even ask you. You'd discover betrayals from loved ones and what everyone really thinks of you. You'd know when your friends, your parents, and even you yourself would die. Sleeping would be impossible. The voices, the data, everyone's thoughts would haunt you day and night. You would go crazy and be unable to endure so much knowledge. You would have to clear your mind and meditate so you wouldn't die from a heart attack. One day you'd think about how to use your power, and you'd reveal secrets that would change governments, expose corrupt politicians, and prevent wars. Everyone would be afraid of you, but they would also love you. You'd become a hero and a villain at the same time, building a world in balance. If you're lost in the forest, follow these 5 rules to survive. First, don't move. The rescue team will only look for you where you were last seen, not where you might have gone. Second, look for water. You can survive 3 weeks without food, but only 3 days without water. But before drinking it, you have to filter it. Fold your t-shirt 4 times and pour the water through it. This way you'll eliminate dirt, bugs, and bacteria. Third, signal SOS. Make 3 signals of anything repeatedly. 3 flashlight flashes, 3 loud whistles, or even 3 fires. Fourth, build a shelter. Use branches, stones, and bushes. Put it all together, and above all, make sure the roof doesn't fall down. Finally, make a fire. Rub a stick repeatedly against dry leaves on top of a log. When smoke comes out, blow on it while you keep rubbing. Fire is useful for warming up, boiling water, and most importantly, attracting the attention of rescuers.
In 2018, a group of friends was exploring a cave in Thailand when suddenly the tunnels flooded with water and they became completely trapped. They were more than 3 kilometers underground and the flooding had filled the cave tunnels with contaminated water. 10 days later, a rescue team found them but faced many difficulties navigating through the tunnel. And tragically, one of the rescuers died during the mission. For this reason, they could not find a way to bring the children out safely. Their last option was to inject a sedative to make them sleep, put a diving mask on them, and carry their unconscious bodies through the tunnels one by one. The 12 children and their coach were successfully rescued after 18 days underground. The bus doors suddenly closed and trapped her backpack, but the driver didn't notice. The bus sped up, dragging her along the road. The girl tried to run to keep up with the speed of the bus, but she lost her balance and fell, being dragged along the asphalt for more than 300 meters. Another driver honked the horn to get the bus driver's attention. The girl suffered from serious injuries and burns all over her body and had to undergo several surgeries. The driver was fired and the parents sued him for being an idiot, but the girl managed to recover and walk again. When the Titanic hit the iceberg, several holes opened on one side of the ship, causing water to flood in. But the ship was designed with special compartments to hold large amounts of water in case of flooding, and if only 4 of those compartments were damaged, the ship could stay afloat. But the iceberg ruptured 6 of them in the front, and they began flooding with water rapidly. This caused the bow of the ship to sink into the sea, which made the rear part of the ship lift into the air. Finally, the middle section couldn't bear the weight and broke in half, and both halves of the ship sank to the bottom of the ocean.
How to always win at Uno. Never play wild cards at the start of the game. It's very likely your opponents have another one, and it could backfire on you. If the player next to you only has 2 cards left, play a reverse card. Remember, it's not about improving your own play, it's about messing up your opponent's turn. On the other hand, when you have a color change card, say colors you don't have, it's very likely they'll try to block you, but in the end, they'll actually be helping you. Finally, if the next player only has 1 card, you can pretend you don't have any useful cards and draw until you get a +4. No one will know what cards you really have.
How to spot a friend with depression. Ask your friends how they're doing. Someone with depression will often say, "I'm fine," even when they're not. If you suspect a friend, create a music playlist with them. It's very likely they'll only add sad songs to cry to. On the other hand, if you have a ghost friend who doesn't reply to messages or show up when you meet, go to their house because they might be in trouble. Lastly, even the clown of the group who always seems happy might be hiding depression. Remember, not everything is what it seems.
If you're attacked by a swarm of bees, many people will go underwater trying to escape from them, but the bees will be patiently waiting to attack you when you come up for air. Instead, use your shirt to cover your face, protecting your eyes and mouth. Run without looking back and look for a safe place like a car. Once you're under cover, carefully remove all the stingers to avoid receiving even more venom.
A bullet flew in his right eye and got lodged deep inside his skull, and a second bullet hit him directly in the chest. This should have been a fatal wound, but somehow he survived. That's because he carried a small Bible in the pocket of his coat, which stopped the bullet from reaching his heart. Surgeons removed the bullet from his skull, and he lost his right eye, but the little Bible ended up saving his life.
If you're stupid and bite your tongue while eating spicy food, run to drink lots of water. The spice has burned the wound and you could lose your tongue. If you notice lots of graffiti in the same color, get out of there as soon as possible. You've probably entered a dangerous gang neighborhood. If a dangerous thief tries to rob you, throw your own stuff as far as possible. Thieves are usually stupid and they'll forget about you. If you're a slob and stain your pants while peeing, wet your pants with even more water. People will think you just got wet while washing your hands.
A woman spilled a McDonald's coffee on her legs in 1992. At that time, McDonald's served its coffee at the dangerous temperature of 90 degrees Celsius, and therefore just 10 degrees Celsius away from boiling. Due to the heat, the woman needed skin grafts and was hospitalized for 8 days because of the burn. But this wasn't the only coffee-related accident, as McDonald's had received over 700 complaints about its dangerously hot coffee. The company faced a major public scandal and finally decided to lower the temperature of its coffee.
If you're under house arrest, here's what happens. First, they'll put an ankle monitor on your leg and confine you to a specific area, like your house. You are required to work to pay the daily $20 for the use of the monitor. On the other hand, if you break the monitor, you'll have to pay for a new one and pay $3,000. But if you intentionally don't charge your monitor so the battery dies, the police will come looking for you and could take you to a real prison. Finally, if you try to leave your house even by a meter, the monitor will send a signal to the nearest police station, and since they have your exact location, they will send several officers to kindly ask you why you are not at home.
If you are in your house during the night and a thief comes in to steal, turn off the lights. You know your house inside much better than the thief does. If you're completely lost in the desert, don't go and drink your own urine. You will only get even more dehydrated. If you've been kidnapped, you can call 911 and pretend you are ordering a pizza. The policemen will notice the clue and they'll come to save you. If you're on the beach and the water begins to recede, get out of there as soon as possible. A great tsunami is approaching.
The sticky grenade has a sticky substance on the exterior of the bomb. After pulling the pin, just like a normal grenade, throwing it releases the lever and activates the bomb. The grenade sticks to its target thanks to the sticky substance. This helps the bomb lock onto the enemy, leaving them no chance to escape the explosion. Some children started disappearing in a town. After interrogating the owner of a castle, they discovered that the children had been kidnapped by a famous knight who became obsessed with alchemy and black magic. He was accused of torturing and sacrificing over 200 children for his dark ritual. A servant said she saw hundreds of children's heads inside a secret room, and the carpets were made of human skin and hair. In the end, the first serial killer in history, Gil de Rais, was tortured and sentenced to be burned alive at the stake.
If you get stabbed with a really big knife, do not remove it unless it is really blocking an airway inside. The knife will help you not to lose your blood while sealing the wound. If you're chased by a poisonous snake, hit the ground hard with your feet. The vibrations of the floor will seem like the footsteps of a bear, and it'll get scared. If you're attacked by a shark, kick really hard its eyes and nose with your leg. That's their weakest spot, and you will buy time to escape. If you're completely trapped inside a mall with no electricity, look for colored crayons. They will burn easily and work as candles.
In 2001, a thief got stuck in a chimney while trying to rob a house, and the homeowner, unaware there was a thief, lit a big fire. The chimney quickly filled with black smoke and extreme heat. The thief started screaming and calling for help, but the fire and smoke grew so much that they drowned out the thief's cries for help. When the firefighters arrived at the crime scene, they found the thief's lifeless body inside the chimney. How to find out the meaning of your dream. If you fall in a dream just before waking up, it means you have a lot of anxiety and your brain is warning you about something. Dreaming about a dead relative or friend means you haven't accepted their death yet and need to say goodbye. On the other hand, if you transform into an animal, it means you need to explore more aspects of your personality. For example, turning into a wolf means you need to develop your aggression more. Finally, when your teeth fall out in a dream, it reflects that you have many insecurities about your appearance and hate looking in the mirror. How to always win at rock, paper, scissors. The best move against a man is paper, and against a woman, rock, since the average man picks rock for its strength, while women choose scissors because of... When someone wins at rock, paper, scissors, they usually repeat the same move in the next round. But if they lose, it's very likely they'll change their strategy. So, if you win a round, repeat your opponent's move. If you lose, throw what neither of you picked. If it's a tie, repeat your own move. Lastly, if you must win no matter what, hit your palm with an open hand, not a closed fist, before the match. Your opponent's subconscious will make them choose scissors and you'll win with rock. A thief broke into a supermarket in 2008, and while escaping, he was surprised to see a giant lollipop. The man thought it was real, but when he licked the lollipop, he realized it was fake. However, his tongue left a clue for the police, because the tongue, just like fingerprints, has a unique pattern. The investigators took the tongue print from the lollipop to identify the thief, and a few days later, the police put him in jail. If you're in a forest and you don't hear any sound, hide as fast as possible. A very large animal is about to attack you. If you break a power tower, don't lift your feet off the ground. An electromagnetic field has formed, and if you're not touching the ground, you'll die. If an app shows up on your phone that you don't recognize, delete it immediately. It's very likely that it's stealing your information. If you're diving and feel like vomiting, try to throw up inside your mask. If you take it off, you'll swallow salt water and die.
A plane with 45 passengers crashed in the Andes Mountains back in 1972. Trapped in the freezing snow, the survivors tried to reach out for help, but their attempts failed, and they had almost no food. The days went by quickly, and they were left with no choice but to make a terrible decision. They had to consume the bodies of the passengers who had died in the accident. Finally, 2 months later, 2 of the survivors walked through the cold weather for 10 days, crossing the mountains, finding assistance, and guiding the rescue team to the site of the accident. In the end, only 16 of the 45 passengers managed to survive.
Do this to become famous on TikTok. People love to criticize, and if you make a mistake, everyone will laugh at you. Pretend to be dumb, mispronounce words, and say that Ronaldo is better than Messi. For example, if you say a word wrong, people will comment that you're an idiot and that it's pronounced differently. And anyone who reads the comment will rewatch the video over and over to find the mistake, which is really great for the algorithm, and you'll gain millions of followers.
If you've been kidnapped by a group of terrorists, try to make friends with your kidnapper. If you get him to trust you, he will let you go out for air, and you can escape. If a few gang members are messing with you, get down and ask for forgiveness. It's better that they laugh at you than them cutting off your head. If you're about to put on dirty clothes, but they don't smell bad, don't do it. Your nose has gotten used to the bad smell and can no longer detect the stench, but you really are a pig. If you notice that a thief wants to rob you, go and talk to a random person as if he were your friend. Criminals will only attack you if you are alone. In 2014, a baby stuck a pencil up his nose and somehow pushed it through his nasal passage until he inserted 7 centimeters into his brain. They took him to the hospital immediately, and the doctors had to extract it very carefully while trying not to cause more damage. But the pencil had magically managed to miss all the important nerves and blood vessels, and they were able to remove it without causing any long-term damage.